Right, come on everyone. As you can see, we're back outside the old Hebden Bridge, Nick, and I'm going to take you out on one of our little tours around Hebden. It is quite early; it's only like 6:15 in the morning, but it's probably the best time to do it. I'm not bumping into loads of people. There are one or two setting off to work, but that's not really going to bother us. Right, let's get underway. I'm going to call this particular film in two beats. It's not actually one of our old beat areas. It's just for effect, really. Right, so off we go. I brought you around here on the last little tour around. This is going to feature most of the other side of the town, the other side of the bridge. Right, as you can see, there's nobody about at all. It's quite good. I'm just going up to Carlton Buildings. I did tell you about the Carlton Hotel that used to be here. It's apartments now, and this cheese shop. This was formerly Crabtree's clothes shop. There were two ladies that run it, Fran and Lynn. And it's a bit odd really, I still call it Crabtree's, even though it's been closed for a while and changed hands. But I used to call in quite a lot. We used to have a brew and a chat. And basically, I used to get Sarah something from there once a year for Christmas. It was really nice quality stuff. It used to last forever. I think she's still got a pair of boots that I bought her from there, and I've still got a couple of shirts that she bought me. So yeah, it was a bit of a focal point of the town really with Crabtree's. Two lovely ladies that were a family-run shop, Harold Crabtree's. Yeah, it's like end of an era when it closed down. Yeah. So, onwards and upwards. We're just coming through Square. Came through here on last little jaunt out. You come down here during the day and it's absolutely packed out. There's you can't walk on here when I'm walking now. There's tables outside cafes. So you've got there's a cafe there, another cafe, and another cafe. So you've got a good choice there. 3 cafes in the space of a few yards. Right, this is Country Stores. Do breakfasts and boxed sort of meals for your lunch. I didn't take you up this way, but yeah, I'm sure this was the little fish and chip shop at White Lion Fish Shop. If it wasn't, it's probably the other one further down. White Lion Pub. It's an old sort of coaching house originally. They do nice meals there, like most pubs. I think they rely more on the food part of the business. But it is really nice inside. They've got a log fire burning in winter, so yeah. I think that was the fish shop, fish and chip shop, White Lion. This is Hebden Bridge Mill with Il Molino's. That's nice inside as well. They've got like another coffee shop. There's some more shops upstairs. That's where John the Barber, another local who were quite famous around the town. I think he passed away a couple of years since. But I think that's where everybody went for their hair cutting. Yeah, so we're moving on now. We're just going to go off the bridge towards, it's called the Town Hall now, but when I first came down it were called the council offices. Morning, star of the show. And this is Hebden Water. It's come down from Castle Crags and on through the little valley. It meets up with the River Calder, which is a bit further on there. And this is Town Hall, or council offices. They changed the name a few years ago. I don't know what the idea was, but yeah. In the day when it were, I think it was built, let's have a look, 1894. And the green door there, that's where the old Hebden Bridge fire station was. It was well, they'd moved a long time before I got down here. I did come down, I think about 2012. Oh yeah, 1897. I did come down, I think it was about 2012, and they had it was called the Advocate lads. And basically it's the Duke of Wellington's regiment. The Advocate lads, they were about 1700. So as I came round the corner, there were soldiers on parade outside the town hall with the red tunics. I think they're a bit of a band playing. It just reminded me of the old kiddies programme, Camberwick Green. It was that sort of feel to it. You just expected. I think it was Sergeant Major Grout and another couple of characters off there. Yeah, the boys from Pippin Fort. I thought I should have come round there. If I'd known, I'd have put my uniform on. I could have done a bit of a PC McGarry. Right, moving onwards. This part were built on. I think around about 2002, which is. It's extended the building. We've got some businesses running from in there. I'll just show you, that's Bonsel's. That used to be like a do-it-yourself shop where you could get all your do-it-yourself stuff. This car park here, this was formerly the Hebden Bridge Market, which were on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Well. As you can see, it is quite new as this extension bit. And this little building here, this was formerly the doctor's, Hebden Bridge doctor's surgery. It moved the larger building on Valley Road. I'll show you that one day, but I'm not sticking on my beat sort of thing. Yeah. That was the doctor's. It had a little chemist in there as well. I think that was Thomas's chemist. They had that and the one in Crown Street. Yep. And this was formerly the Hole in the Wall pub, one of the town centre pubs that we had in Hebden Bridge. It's closed down. Now. Made it into apartments. But that was quite a popular pub. We did get called there a few times to look at stuff that were going in. It was built in 1899, as you see. We used to have a bit of a laugh actually, because they used to do a bit of after-hours serving. And And basically they made an attempt to pull the curtains on so we wouldn't be nobody going past would be able to see if they were having afters. But they used to leave, they didn't pull the curtains on fully, they were like chinks of light coming out, indicating that there were people still in there supping away, thinking they were dodging police. But we did know. I think I had a word with landlord one afternoon when I was walking round. I just told him to pass it round to the rest of the licensees that we're not all as daft as we may look. So they did make sure that the curtains were pulled on. I just made some tale up about the inspector came down. If you don't sort of behave, it's going to affect your licence. So that was, yeah, a bit of community policing at its best. It was like crazy licensing laws really, and I just thought, well, if they're behaving themselves in there, you know, what's the point of upsetting every folk around here? So that's what we did. This is Royd Terrace. When we had a part-time fire station a bit further on Valley Road, I think it's a car park now, they pulled that down. Quite a lot of the retained firefighters lived on Royd Street and other terrace streets further on. And this is the footpath to Hebden. It's all cobbled, and basically this is called the Buttress. I'll take you up the Buttress one of these days. With well, it was an old joke, but it used to make us laugh. So we were in a car chase one night, and they tried to give us the slip. It were believe it or not, it were a Vauxhall Cavalier, and we got into a bit of a chase with it. It came screaming round the corner, just by just where we've been actually, and then it took a right turn, up to the Buttress. Absolutely no chance of getting up there, and it was screeching, and there was smoke coming out at the back, and burning his clutch out, trying to get up the lane there. No chance at all. We did end up locking. There were only a couple of lads in there, this Vauxhall Cavalier. We did end up locking him up, but we joked again that it was not the only Cavalier that got stuck heading up towards Eptonstall. During the Civil War, the English Civil War, the Cavaliers attempted to charge up the hill towards where the Roundhead stronghold was at Eptonstall. They came unstuck. The Roundheads were waiting for them. It's a lot easier to fight downhill than uphill. They were chucking stones and all sorts of stuff down at them, and yeah, lots of them ended up in the river. I think there were a few that drowned in there. So we had his own little battle with the Cavaliers back in, I think it must have been about early 90s. So yeah, this little bridge, I'll take you over the bridge because I did forget some little bits from the last one. I won't go reading through it. It's been here. It was around about 1510. I'll just take you over here because the last video I did, I was walking down the road and I thought, oh, I've missed something out. There's something I've missed here, and there was a bit of a pause while I was looking through my notes to see what I'd missed. Anyway, when I got home, I thought, yeah, I did. Anyway, without further ado, I'll take you down and show you what we missed. Lovely little bridge. This is the White Swan again. Right, as you can see, we're back on the bridge gate. And Coffee Cali. Morning, love. You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
This is Coffee Cali. When I first came down here, it were a freezer food shop where you used to get your frozen food. But when it closed down, I actually bought one of the large freezers from them, and we had it up at Rose Cottage, and I used to fill it full of food, and we used to buy lamb and stuff from the farmers. So we used to stock it all up, and in case we got snowed in, which we did quite regularly up there, so that came in handy. This is Frank and Jasper's. It's a clothes shop, and I did mention that it was Jeremy Bear's, which were a clothes shop. But what I failed to, or what I forgot about, after that, it was the laundrette. We used to go in there and mostly get your clothes dry. It worked out a bit cheaper than sticking our tumble dryer on. So I used to come down, park up before the parking got a bit crazy down here, and just stick the wet washing in, and away you go. It were a bit of a service, but I think that closed down a few years ago, and it's now a clothes shop. It's amazing what these little businesses turn into once new owners take over. Coffee Cali, we usually have tables and stuff out there when a bit later on during the day. Right, I'm going to take you back over at Bridge, and I'll just let you have a look. It's it's a lovely little bridge, a little pack horse bridge. We get a lot of tourists sort of trekking over here now. How very quaint. That's Hebden Water. You get a load of ducks there once the tourists arrived. Oh, there's one there. Look down there, just waiting for some duck bread. And there the wavy steps. Yeah, brilliant. That's the back of the council offices. I'm still tempted to call it the council offices rather than the town hall. But there's a cafe there as well. Hebden's full of cafes. So, morning. And that's the bridge we went over. Yeah, it's very picturesque. I can see why people are drawn to this place. It is lovely. It is relatively unchanged after the vandalism of the 60s, where they pulled the houses on this side. Went round and pulled a load of houses down, and thankfully left it at that. But loads of little there would have been mill houses, the local mills. This is a relatively new addition. At least they've used something that blends in with the rest of the old town. I think this new bit here, it's built on the site of Hebden Cord, which was an old, well, they called it Trouser Town, did Hebden Bridge in the past, and Hebden Cord were, well, what it says on the tin, it made corduroy, mostly trousers. And I can remember a chap coming up. I was still working at Hebden Bridge, so it must have been around about 2009, 2010. Old guy. He came up. He said, "Oh, have they moved somewhere?" He had a right Yorkshire accent, and I said, "Well, it's closed down." So, and he said, "Well, yes, I bought these. He said, I got 2 pair of them 30 years ago. There were one which pair he were wearing. These are like the honey-coloured, honey-shaded corduroy trousers." He said, "I got these, and I got a pair of black uns for for what I use for formal occasions. So I like to use them to go to church and go to funerals and stuff. He said, but he said, I bought them before I emigrated. And I thought, oh, good grief. He said, can you guess where? Oh, I did the usual sort of Australia, no. New Zealand, no, lad, no. Canada, no. I said, go on then. He said, it's where they have lots of sheep. And I thought, well, I think that's Australia, New Zealand. They had a lot of merino sheep out there. And I said, go on then. I gave up. Where have you emigrated to? He said, South Wales. I thought, oh, well, well, that's, there you go. That made me laugh a bit. Right, moving on. We're just at the end of what we call Old Gate now. This building here, I think it's a house, maybe a house now. But when we first moved down, it was like a kiddie's clothes shop. Yeah, I think that's all part of it. They used to sell children's clothes like shoes and wellies and things like that. And I can remember we were on the beat one night, me and my mate, and basically over the last few nights we'd heard the horse being ridden round the town centre. We could hear it galloping round it, obviously on the cobbles and the road. You could hear the thing, and we leapt up from the desk and looked outside, and we just caught the back end of a horse with a rider galloping round Hope Street and then turning left. And we shot out. We tried to find out where this horse were heading. We thought, oh God, not another bloody ghost round Hebden Bridge. So we'd lost it. So we thought, well, we'll set off on foot. We'll wait till it gets quiet until we've done all his normal jobs. And we set off and we're walking round here. We're walking round and we're just chatting away, just wondering where this bloody horse had gone. And then suddenly, as I came round the corner, I think it was this window here, we're walking past and I just sort of glanced in, and there was a bloody horse staring out that window. And what it was a local chap. I won't give his name, he's probably still knocking about somewhere. But he'd had a bust up with his mum and dad up at Blackshire Head. He said, right, I'm moving out. So he did, he moved out, and he moved into this, it was a rented house by then. And he took his horse with him, and the bloody horse were living in this little cottage here. But there it was, staring out the window at us as we walked past. Typical bloody Hebden Bridge. This was a little pet shop. I'm not too sure if it's still open or not, but a lovely little couple from Martham Royd, and they were running that shop. Morning. This one here, I'm sure this were yet another antique shop that we had in Hebden Bridge. And this was, it's called Old Gate. We were called, not Bridge, it's been called all sorts of names. But yeah, that's what it was called. Right. Yep, it's quite a big pub. We've been in there a few times. It were you can sit outside now. I think it were all inside, but Friday and Saturday nights the folk used to gather here, eat yard, and yeah, it were good. It were a good atmosphere. I did come down. We got called down one Christmas, and I think it was the first year that we'd had a little addition to our armoury, and they must have spilled out. There must have been a bit of a fight going on inside. And they're fighting inside, and they managed to turf them all out. And when we came round the corner at Land Rover, there was a mass brawl in the middle of the road here. Cars were stopping. It was right bloody set to. And of course, we jumped. There were only two of us, and we jumped out at Landy, shouting, "Stop fighting!" and all the rest of it. We have to shout, but they weren't taking any notice of us. They weren't really interested in us. They were interested in battering each other half to death. So they didn't want out to do with police. I'll just show you this. This is Hebden Water. This is another bridge in Hebden Bridge. Yeah, so we turned up. They were battling the hell out of each other, all rolling around on the floor. There were cars trying to get past. It were a proper humdinger of a set too. Quite enjoyable, really, to as part of audience, but as a witness. But eventually it's getting really out of hand. There were people getting injured and stuff, so I thought, right, we'll sort this out, no problem. So we drew our gas, CS gas. Basically, I just used it like a fly spray. I just give them a few quick blasts, and as if by magic, they all once it had taken effect, they all stopped fighting. They couldn't really do it else. The effects are that it makes your eyes water, obviously. Your nose is running, and basically it puts you off fighting at all. It only lasts 20 minutes, so there's no injuries as such. I think we did lock one or two of them up, but it sorted the job out. So there you go. The first real taste, so to speak, of CS gas. Right, moving sharply on. The shop there, across there, that Spring Tuition. Now that was Lord Dale's, probably the only electrical shop in Hebden Bridge. Basically, yeah, it was one of probably the only electric shop in Hebden Bridge, Lord Dale's. The noticeable thing with this was it must have had the loudest bloody burglar alarm in the world. There were people ringing up from when it went off. It sometimes went off for no reason at all. I don't think the Ark Royal foghorn was as loud as that. But we used to get people from Old Town and Blackshire Head ringing up, saying that there was an alarm going off. Well, that's where it was. Right, moving on. That fix, I seem to think it might have been the dry cleaners. Could have been one of these shops. Like I say, they do move on, these shops. Finn Gledhill Solicitors, that was let's find out what name it was. Eastwood's. That was Eastwood's Solicitors, so it was still a Solicitors. One step beyond, that was Riley's Estate Agents. Some friends of ours were run that. It turned into, it was Riley's, which was linked to another estate agents up in Halifax. Then it became Ryburn's, so Ryburn's Estate Agents. So yeah, on we go. Try to read my own writing here. If I don't write it down, I'll bloody forget, so just have to bear with me a minute. Yep, shop across there, that was a toy shop. And Rebel, that was I think that was the clock shop. We had a clock shop there, they used to sell that antique shops. The one next door, that was a little off licence that was here. And we're just coming onto Market Street now. This is a nice shop. It's called Oregano. We get all our pizzas from here. But originally it was an old-fashioned sewing shop. You know, where you could buy your fabrics and your cotton and everything else, buttons and anything else. They did alterations and stuff, so that were nice to know. I say a lot of these have changed hands and turned into all sorts of stuff, cafes and little restaurant bars. Eastern Spice, that were like a pizza place. We didn't have too many takeaways in Hebden Bridge, but that was it was a chap called Alex that used to have that. He was a Greek chap. Used to see him every night when he finished work. He were flying around in a Ford Sierra. I'm not too sure. I think he ended up going down to run a shop in or a cafe in Dean Clough. So yeah, very good. This is the Afghan rug shop, which was formerly Barclays Bank. Hebden Bridge branch of Barclays Bank. That closed down a couple of years since. Right. We're just coming up to one of my it's Valley Organics now, but one of my favourite shops. It was a book shop. It was Murray and Marianne who lived above the shop. I used to go in there quite often. We'd have a brew of tea and put the world to rights. But there's just every sort of book you could imagine in there. I'll just step back a bit and you can get a full view of it. Yeah. I used to go in and buy all sorts of books. There were antique books there, and a lot of the old editions of, believe it or not, farming and vet books. And when we lived up at Rose Cottage, I bought one or two of these books just to keep me updated on, or keep me educated on the ways of the country with farming and stuff. So when I used to go to these jobs like involving farms and doing shotgun inquiries and stuff, at least we could talk about farming matters. So it was a good way of educating myself. So that was that one. Let's see what else we've got. Valley Organics. Lots of these other shops. These were art shops and old antique shops. I think it was Mooch Bar that was an antique shop that had a massive, like 7 or 8 foot Yeti inside, or a white coloured model of a Yeti. It was massive. It'd been up for sale there for years and years, and every time we walked past it used to scare kids. So I was going to buy it for some bloody jokey reason that I'd never want that. But yeah, that was a focal point as we used to walk past. A lot of these shops are closed down now. I think it was Papa's. That was there used to be an old fish and chip shop there. So, but this shop here, it's never been used for some reason. It's like somebody's put the bloody window through up there. There was a chap called Ian that lived and sort of did a bit of trading from there. He used to sell, I don't know where he got it from, I think they were like auctions in Manchester that used to sell like mobile phones and stuff. I think I bought a couple of mobile phones from there for lasses. The two girls had mobile phones, which yeah, good one. There's where that letter S is it somebody's child? There were a local character who sort of lived and he used to call him Pastor Benson, and I think he would try to make it into some sort of chapel. He fancied himself as a bit of a pastor or a vicar of some sort. But, yeah, that's where he lived. It's getting a bit noisy now. Barker's Terrace, the one with blue door there, one of my old bank step pals used to live there, called John, really nice guy. He's doing quite well for himself now. He's got a bit of a, well, when I say a bit of a transport business, he's doing it really well. I think he's done a lot of moving around for groups, setting, getting all the equipment to different venues. He sent me a letter one day, or a card from France. I think he was doing a lot of French runs. So yeah, it's good to see local lads and lasses doing well for themselves. Right, now we're coming. That's the co-op. When I was down here as a postman, that weren't here. I think we were just in process of doing it all up. Salem Community Centre, we had a boxing club there. Used to go in on a Sunday just to do a bit of bag work. It looks like it's a Tai Chi academy now. But, yeah, that was a good place to go if you want to do a bit of training. So I knew all these back streets at the back of my hand. That's Fountain Street, that leads on to Canal. I'll take you on there one day. I'll just stick to this bit of a route today. So Central Street School. And what they do, the kids go there till they're old enough to go to Riverside, and then from Riverside it's on to Calder Eye or one of the other schools. Yeah, there's lovely little shops and yeah, lovely. Well worth a visit if you ever get down this neck of the woods. This was an interesting place. It was it had a little swimming pool inside, for training the youngsters how to swim. It was only tiny, and I think we did have a caretaker living on the premises. And these are back at shops, the shops that I showed you earlier on. we used to come skulking round here on nights, try to find lads. Well, there were mostly lads that never saw any lasses breaking into cars, but it were mostly lads that were out and about doing the thieving. I'll just go over this little bridge now, and this is where Hebden Water turns into the Calder, the River Calder. Right, and this is Riverside School. Quite a large school really compared to the other ones round about here. Used to get problems with folk parking up here and just leaving the cars, and used to get complaints from head teacher. So it's best time to come round here at this time of morning, at least. There's nobody, well, there's not too many folk about. And that's Hebden Bridge post office. That's the main post office for Hebden Bridge. Just walk on here a bit, and I'll through those red gates there. That leads into the old to the sorting office where the mail comes in from Halifax, and it's sorted out into different. We call them walks, but into different routes, and then off they go delivering the mail. This is another iconic building of Hebden Bridge. It's called the Trades Club. I've been in quite a few times. Even when I were on duty, there were a band called the Bundu Boys from Zimbabwe, and I knew they were playing, and I just walked in my uniform and stood at the back and watched them going through the songs. I think it must have been mid to late 90s, but yeah, I quite liked it in there. And this is the little theatre. With me and Sarah going quite often. They do put some good little plays on and shows. So that's just show you what's on or what's coming up. I think we go 3 or 4 times a year, and this, like I say, they're all amateurs, but they really do some good shows there. This is still Riverside School, and this little bridge here, it takes you over the canal. I'll show you anyway. A tiny little bridge, and eventually it leads into Calder Homes Park. I'll show you around there on a different occasion. One of my little tours. Yep, and this is the canal. Believe it or not, before they put that post in there, we used to come round it Land Rover. Bit tight, but we used to get round there, and it used to drive onto the park, which used to spook a lot of the teenage drinkers. Suddenly a Land Rover appears, and we put every light on that we had, the beacons, the searchlights, and everything else that we had on there. So that caused a bit of a rumpus, but it's entertaining, I suppose. Yeah, so I'll carry on along Home Street, and then I'll show you another little bit that might be of interest to you. Yep, all postmen are on the way to work now. When I worked here, when I covered here, this has sent me down to cover for leave and sickness when I were a postman up at Halifax. used to send me down here, and it was just walking around totally bloody lost at times. I didn't know the area. So, yeah. This is another taxi office. I think there were flats at one time. But, chap that lived there, he had a busy sort of life, and then it became a taxi office. So yeah. Don't really know what business they were in, but we always had regular visitors. Right, we're just going back on West End. There's a little bit that I want to show you before we finish. I'm just coming through this little yard here, and this was back at Information Centre and at back of Yorkshire Bank. And this bit here, where this Winnie Dot shop is, now this used to be old Calder Valley Search and Rescue, or Moorland Rescue Post was. We used to meet up there on was it Monday? Anyway, we used to meet up there and do first aid training when I was in rescue team. Yeah, I think it's up for sale now, but yeah, it's a lovely little building, that. But that's where the rescue team were based. So, and believe it or not, they kept one of the vehicles inside. I don't know how the hell they fit everything in there. It was like a bit like Doctor Who's TARDIS. We had all the search equipment in there, and we used to have a lecture room at the top where we used to do all the first aid, and we used to have like guest speakers coming in for like search dogs, and yeah. But Lord knows how they fit that van inside. It was like a transit-sized van that the rescue team had. It's moved down to Mythenroyd now, purpose built. It's got plenty of room there. And when I was doing my beat work in Hebden, any newbies that used to turn up, any probationers used to turn up, I used to arrange to take them down to the rescue post down in Mythenroyd, just to show them really what capabilities they've got. It is police backed. They have helped out in searching for lost bodies on the moors and all the rest of it, and they did have quite a lot of experience of searching for bodies, so that's what that was. That's what the rescue team specialised in. And I can remember when the Lockerbie disaster, terrorist bomb that went off on the Pan Am flight, there were a few of the lads went up. I know search dog went up to help recover what was left of the victims up there. So that's what the search team were doing. It's not just a local service. They are interlinked with other search teams. They do regular exercises with teams across the border in Lancashire and Derbyshire and up in the lakes, and they do quite a lot of training. And it's basically a charity. There's a mixture of all sorts of folk on the teams. We've got doctors and police officers, firemen, and all sorts of folk who were members of the team. So, like I say, it is a charity. They do rely on public support. So now you know. Right, we're back on Cheetham Street again. We're almost back at the Nick. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll call it 2 beat. This is 2 beat. The one that I did before, I'll call that 1 beat. It's like a policey thing. But I say I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, and jot something down if you've got time. If you can think of out that I've missed, just let me know. But, here we go. Looks like the cleaners in at the library. There we go, back at the Nick. So, yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. I'll have some more planned, mentioning some jobs that we dealt with on the streets of Hebden Bridge. Right then, I'll get back home and have some breakfast. I'm meeting up with one of my old pals this evening. Sorry if I go again too early. Later on this morning, so I'll no doubt we'll be sat having a coffee and talking about jobs that we dealt with while we're down here. It was looking forward to. I haven't seen him for a while, so I'm looking forward to that one. Right, I'll get off and I say just look after yourself and just keep smiling and doing what you think's best. All right then, thanks very much. It's an early morning, I'm still half asleep. All right, thanks very much and take care. See you in a bit. Ta-da.